Hey everyone, happy Monday. I'm excited to be back in Denver and doing some live videos. If you've been following me, you may have known the last few weeks I was in Italy and traveling around, and I did not have very good internet, so I pre-recorded some videos for you guys. But I always love doing them live, so I'm excited to be back and excited about today's topic because I'm going to be talking about the number one key thing that you want to be using in your marketing to really make you stand out and be seen as the number one authority and a trusted person that your clients really want to work with. So really like the no-brainer choice for them. What is going to make them really want to work with you? I'm going to go through that today. I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to give you guys some steps. I know you're going to find it super, super helpful. So if you pop on, say hello. I'm going to go ahead and share this in my group. We are getting some nice snow here in Denver right now. We woke up to like 4 or 5 inches of snow. It is nice and cold, a little bit of a shock after being in Italy and wearing shorts and swimming. But it's all good. It's beautiful. It's definitely looking like Christmas, even though it's only October. But it's all good. One of the big things that I do hear from so many people is questions around marketing. And one of the things that I want you guys to know, because I think there's a lot of kind of confusion and shame around I should know how to market, shouldn't be this challenging, and that most of us aren't taught how to market and know how to run a business and to speak to our clients in that way. And so that's a big thing of what I teach people how to do, like really understanding how to do the marketing, how to speak to people, and that's a big part of what I'm going to talk about today. What I want to talk about is really like how to, like I said before, build those really strong connections with your ideal clients. How do you build authority? How do you build trust? How do you build like them seeing you as the person that they must work with? Because there is a lot of noise out there, especially online, as you're seeing if you're a coach and you're probably like, oh my gosh, everyone is coaching, everyone's talking about the same things, like why would anyone want to work with me? Why would anyone want to pay me to work with me? And those things are probably popping up in your head. And what I'm going to show you is how you can set yourself apart, how you can get people to know that you are the right choice for them, okay? And that's going to make a huge difference for you and your marketing and make you really stand out. Oh, sorry. Make you stand out as the right person, like really the no-brainer choice. Like they're going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, that is exactly who I need to be working with. So what I'm going to be talking about today is using story in your marketing. And story is really the number one key. I mean, you're probably familiar with how powerful story is. It's used obviously in all our movies, all the TV shows we watch, pretty much any book you've ever read. Anytime anyone's even giving like a talk or a presentation or anything, a lot of times people are using story because it's such a great connector with people and such a great way to share a message. And story has been used since like the beginning of time, really, to communicate things, I mean, you can think of all the stories that have been around for so long that we continue to tell because it's such a powerful method of communication. And story is something that I've always really taught my clients and taught as far as part of our marketing. But recently I had a client bring this up to me. It was actually a book that I had seen this guy on a podcast or listened to him in a podcast, and then a client mentioned his book to me, and so I picked it back up and I was like, yes, let me kind of read through this. And it's all about using story in your branding or in your marketing. And so the book is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Definitely a really good book to check out, and I think he has some great tips in there as far as how to use story. And I'm going to run through some of the things that he outlines in his book, and kind of go a little deeper into them because these are things that I've definitely taught, but I think he kind of gives like a nice outline as far as bringing these things into your marketing. And if you start using story, you're going to see a huge difference in your branding and your marketing, because people are going to start really connecting with it, and they're going to start really getting it. And the thing that I think also is really good about story is that it does make you get clear on all the parts that you really need to know in your messaging, because those are the key things, the key parts that we use in all of our marketing, the key things that you want to be talking about. So I'm going to go through these things step by step. If you want to grab a piece of paper and pencil, you can definitely write them down. Otherwise, you can always catch the replay and write them down. But I would definitely take notes on this and use this in your marketing. It's going to make a huge difference, okay? So the other thing, another book to maybe check out if you want to too, is The Hero's Journey by Joseph Campbell, like a super well-known book in strategy. I haven't actually read his book, but I'm probably going to read that as well. But he has stuff like, I kind of did a little search online, and like stuff popped up everywhere as far as his book and his like branding or like his storytelling methods. So I would check out that one too if you're interested in this. So the book that I just talked about was Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller, and I can put that in the notes as well. Okay, so I'm going to go through like the key things that you want to have when you're using story in your branding and in your messaging. So number one is having your character, which is your ideal client, okay? Number one step, and this is why I always talk about ideal client. If you need to know who you're speaking to, like who this person is. So who they are, what's going on for them, like how old they are approximately, like what's going on for them in their life. Are they a parent? Are they a single person? Like you want to know as much as possible and get specific as possible about this person. Like what kind of education they have, what is their income, like have an idea of exactly who this person is, okay? That's why I talk about ideal clients so much. Like to move forward in the next steps, you really need to know who this person is. So number two is knowing the problem that your ideal client has. And this goes along with ideal client. When it comes to ideal client, and I've talked about this in many videos, but you need to know who that person is as specifically as possible and what their big problem is, okay? Like what is it that they're struggling with? What do they see as the biggest problem in their life right now? Once again, like this is what you're marketing everything around. You need to know what is the problem that your ideal client is trying to fix, because this is what they're going to pay you for, to help them fix this problem, okay? So definitely need to get clear on that. And when it comes to the problem, and Donald Miller talks about this, but it's something I talk about too, like a lot of times there's an internal and an external problem. So the external problem is how it's showing up for them in their life. So for example, if we're doing weight loss, which is kind of like, kind of a common thing that people are struggling with, the problem, like the external problem is the weight, right? And that's what they're focused on. They're like, I need to lose weight, and then the internal problem is how that weight is impacting them. So it's probably impacting their confidence. It's maybe impacting their relationships, even like their career, how they're feeling about themselves, how they're showing up in the world. So that's kind of diving deeper into that problem, and to how it's really impacting them. So the feelings that go along with the problem that they have. Hey Donna, so nice to see you. I am doing well. I'm actually a little sick right now, which is why my voice might be a little raspy, but it's from traveling and getting back and being gone and readjusting. So, okay. So we have number one, ideal client. Number two is the problem. Number three is your ideal client meets a guide, and both Donald Miller and Joseph Campbell talk about this. But the guide is you, okay? So you want to set yourself up as the guide or the expert on your ideal client's journey. And so it's really setting up the story that you are going to be the one to help them. You're going to be the one to guide them. And if you think about like really any movie, pretty much all of them have some sort of guide. Like one of them I was thinking, like Harry Potter, and the guide for him is like Dumbledore is like a huge one. obviously like Hey Grid, anyone that's kind of like guiding him through like what steps to be taking or what to be doing in his life, how to help solve the problem that he has. But if you look at like any story, pretty much all of them have the guide. So you want to position yourself as the guide or the person that can help your ideal client, okay? And there's two things to really think about here. Number one is creating empathy with your ideal client, which really just means letting them know that you get it, you've been there, you understand what they're going through, there's nothing wrong with them, like there's reasons they're feeling this way or they're struggling with this, and that really helps. And being able to communicate their problem to them, because when someone feels that you actually really get it, then they're like, oh my gosh, she totally understands what I'm going through, and I feel confident that she can help me with it. So it's really important to do that. And that creates that sense of empathy. And by empathy, I don't mean like, oh my gosh, like getting into kind of like the victim, like, you know, I totally understand, like it's so terrible, but more of an empowering place of actually like, I get it, I've been there. And then the next part is like, it doesn't mean you need to stay there. Like there's things you can do to actually move forward and to change it. And that's a big thing as far as being the guide too, like allowing, like giving them hope or giving them inspiration as to, I've been there and I know what it's like, but I also know that you don't need to stay there and that there's things that you can do to make changes. And that's where you start to build also that authority. So you want to build the empathy of you get it, but you also want to build the authority of I'm someone who can help you and I can help you make those changes, and you can make changes and you don't have to stay stuck. Okay. So that's a big part of that too. So that's number 3, meeting the guide, which is you, and putting yourself as the expert, or positioning yourself as the expert and someone who gets it. Okay. Makes a huge, huge difference. You definitely want to do this. The other thing that I want to add in with authority, sorry, I have my phone on a different little thing and I'm kicking it, is that talk a little bit about why you're the expert. So one of it can be that you've been through it, but also I think it's important that how your approach is different than maybe what they've tried in the past. Because for a lot of our ideal clients, they've tried things that haven't worked for them. I mean, if you think about like weight loss, like maybe trying tons of different diets, working different workouts, you know, whatever it is that they've different fasting or supplements or whatever. So you want to say like, why is your approach different? Why is it better? And being able to talk about that and come from that place as well and understanding that. So part of understanding like the competition out there or the other options that they have, why you're different. You got to position yourself that way too. Okay, so number 4 is give them a plan. So you have to let them know like give them an idea of how you're going to help them. This doesn't mean like getting into the nitty gritty. You don't want to give like all the details of how you help them, but you want to understand how you do help them. And this is part of what I help my clients with when they're figuring out their program, like what's included, what's the process that you're going to walk someone through, because you want to understand this so that you can communicate what it is that you do with people to help them. So it's the plan, right? Like how to get from point A, which is where they are right now, to point B, which is where they want to go, and having that plan. And you're going to say like, I'm going to provide that for you and help you through the steps. Okay. So that's where your program comes in, and really understanding like your process of working with people. Okay. So number 4 is give them a plan. Number 5 is, hey, Sandy, nice to see you as well. And thank you. I am starting to feel better. At first, I just thought it was like jet lag, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to get readjusted to the time. But then I was like, no, I think I got a little bug on top of it. So, okay, so number 5 is give them a call to action. And this is important because we always want to call our clients to action. And I've talked about this a number of times too, but anytime you do marketing, you want to give a call to action. For a lot of my clients, I'm teaching a call to action to sign up for a free consult with you or a free call with you. But we want to call our clients into action, and we want to inspire them into action. So once again, this kind of goes back to a lot of times people like feel stuck, or they don't see what way they can take to get to the end result they want. and you're saying, I can show you the way, and in order to move forward with me helping you, this is the next step you need to take. And a lot of times it's inviting them onto like a consultation with you or a free call with you to talk about working together. Okay, so you want to call them onto action. You want to get them unstuck, get them moving, and be like, okay, this is the next step that you take in order to move forward and to start getting those results that you want. So that call to action. So that's number 5. Number 6 is talking about the end result. If they move forward and if they get your support and they make these changes, what is the end success that they are going to get? Okay, what is it going to look like? How is their life going to change? How are they going to feel? Paint the picture for them, all right? Really dive into who your ideal client is and what they want and what their life is going to look like. And you can go back to having both that internal and that external. So the external is how their life is going to look, and the internal is how are they going to feel when they get that end result, when they get that accomplishment. Like what's going to be different for them, both externally in their life and internally. And you really want to describe this in detail. You want to paint the picture for your ideal clients. It's super powerful. All of us have like this idea, or most of us have an idea or vision of what it is we want to accomplish, especially when we have this big problem. So when you can paint that end picture for them and tell them, this is what's possible. Imagine this, imagine feeling this way. Like that's super powerful for your ideal clients. And then the next part with that is what failures can they avoid with your help, or if they get that success. So one of the things I always ask my clients is when they're going through their ideal client is if they don't take any action, your ideal client, if they don't do anything differently, if they don't get your help, where are they going to be in 5 to 10 years down the road? What is their life going to look like? And this gives you a big picture. And for a lot of people, it's a big deal. If they don't take any action, if they don't make any changes, where they're going to be is a lot of times not at all where they want to be. I mean, a lot of people could have a lot of really bad health challenges, just maybe hating the way they look, always beating up on themselves. Like it's a big deal. So it's good to kind of know if they don't take action, like where could they be as well? And these are the potential like failures or the potential bad things that they could miss out on if they take action. So you want to understand that as well. And be able to paint the picture. If they don't take action, what is their life going to look like? And being able to show people that as well. Because part of what motivates people is moving towards something that we want. But another part of what motivates people is moving away from the things we don't want. So when you can talk about both of these things, it's super powerful. Okay, so that's number 6. And really like this whole process, and as coaches, I think we understand this, but you're providing a transformation for your ideal client. So going through this whole process, they're going to create transformation in their outward life and in their inward life. And I think it's such a powerful process to be a part of. So if you guys have any questions about that, let me know. But I would definitely start bringing story into your marketing. I always have my clients do this. But I think it's helpful to have this framework to really have all these pieces of the story framework when you're talking about it and start using it. And you're going to see a huge difference as far as people really connecting with what you're talking about, and really having like this full picture that you can walk people through. So bring story in, check out those books I recommended that are really great. And like I said, write down these steps I talked about and you can fill them out right away and start using them. So if you guys have questions, let me know. If there's anything you're wondering about when it comes to your own marketing or creating the story in your marketing, let me know. I'm happy to help with them. If you're interested in getting support with your business, you want step-by-step support with your marketing, you want help figuring out who your ideal client is and what your program is and your pricing and your messaging and all those things. Those are things like I help my clients with. I work with everyone one-on-one on those things and help them figure those out so that you don't get stuck with that. So if that's something you're interested in, definitely sign up for a free consultation with me and I'd be happy to talk with you about how that works so that we can get you moving and you don't have to figure it all out on your own, because many times it can be really overwhelming to figure it all out on your own. And I don't think you need to put that pressure on yourself. I think so many of us do. Hold on, I'm just seeing what the questions were that came in. But all of us need support. I mean, I think back, like I went through all my chiropractic school, and then at the end, a lot of people want to like start a business. And I was in that spot too. And I was like, I know nothing about starting a business. And the same thing happens for a lot of people that go through like health coach training, or have some sort of health background, and then they want to start like a coaching business or an online business, and you have no idea what to be doing. And there's no shame to that. You just need to learn what to do. So I think a lot of times we expect that we should know it, and that's not the case. You need to learn it. So it's helpful to learn it from someone. So I will put the titles and the authors of the books in the comments, so you guys can get that. If you missed it, I'll type it in. Let me see if there's, yes, Joseph Campbell. Let me see if there's anything else I missed. Hey, Ilya. Glad you're here. Pri, you're very welcome. Donna, glad that you enjoyed the video. Awesome, you guys. Okay, I'll add the titles and the authors, and if you guys have any other questions, or if you're interested in a call with me, I'll put the link and you can sign up for that as well. It will all be in the comments. So thank you everyone for joining me. I'm gonna go play in the snow. No, I'm just kidding. I'm staying warm inside. But it is very pretty outside. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should, because I always post little videos or pictures of what's going on. I have a nice little video of my snow. So you can definitely go follow me there. But thank you everyone for joining me. Sandy, you're welcome. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and a good week. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye guys.